Hello everyone, this is Nikita. Welcome back to our channel. Firstly, we are really grateful for all the love and support you have been showing. Please keep supporting and do like, share, and subscribe. So, moving on to the video, today we are going to discuss about adulthood. Adulthood is the longest part of the cycle, that is, the period from the early 20s to the early 60s. So, this is subdivided on the basis of the times at which the physical and psychological changes takes place together with the adjustment problems and cultural pressures. So, the subdivisions are like early adulthood, middle adulthood, and late adulthood. So, in the further slides, I'm going to acquaint you with some very needed developments which are dealt during this early adulthood. Firstly, it is important to note that these subdivisions are not fixed and rigid. Instead, they indicate only the ages at which the average men or women can be expected to begin to show some changes in appearance, bodily functions, interests, attitudes, or behaviors. So, what is early adulthood? The time between the late adolescence and middle age. It varies between 18 to 39 years. Here, the physical abilities are at their peak, including the muscle strength, reaction time, sensory abilities, and cardiac functioning. The aging also begins and is characterized by changes in skin, vision, and reproductive capability. So now let's discuss about the characteristics of early adulthood. We all know that the young adults are expected to play new roles and to develop new attitudes, interests, and values. So there are some characteristics in this early adulthood we need to discuss. The first one is the early adulthood is a settling down age. Yes, definitely this is a settling down age because the adults here choose different lifestyles, choose their own careers, and even individuals with whom they'll share the rest of their life. And the next is the reproductive age. So definitely this is the best time for parenthood because it plays the most important role in the lives of most young adults. Problem age. The young adults have been confronted with many problems they are totally unprepared to cope with, like problems in their professional life or personal life. And then next comes the period of emotional tension. So, the emotional tension in these 30s or adult age is generally expressed in worries. So, what young adults worry about depends on what adjustment problems they're facing at that particular time. Next is the period of social isolation. So, with the end of their formal education and when they enter into the adult life pattern, definitely the peer groups of their adolescents wane. So, to cope up with this, they need to establish new social connections to replace those of school and college days. So, next comes the time of commitments. So, as young adults change their role from that of a student and a dependent, they come to a stage where they give some serious commitments. And then next is period of dependency. So, early adulthood is often a period of dependency because, in spite of achieving the status of legal adulthood by age 18, there are some adults who are partially or totally dependent on others, like on their parents financially or on their trainees for their work life. And then comes the value change. This is a time of value change because the people who used to consider school as a necessary evil may now recognize the value of education as a stepping stone. And then next comes the adjustment to new life. So definitely in this early adulthood, the young adults are likely to develop new lifestyles and their adjustment towards these new lifestyles. And then lastly comes the creative age. So what form of creativity will depend on their particular interests and abilities, even the opportunities to do what they want to, and the activities which give them the greatest satisfaction. So in this slide, let us discuss about the developmental tasks. So basically there are five developmental tasks we can discuss about. So first is the physical efficiency. The peak of physical efficiency is generally reached in the mid 20s, after which there is a slow and gradual decline into the early 40s. Thus, during the period when adjustment problems are the most numerous and difficult, the individual is physically able to meet and solve them. The next is the motor abilities. Young adults reach the peak of their strength between the ages of 20 and 30. Maximum speed of response comes between this age, after which it slowly declines. So, in learning new motor skills, adults in these early 20s are superior to those who are approaching their middle age. The next is the mental abilities. The most important mental abilities needed for learning and for adjusting to new situations, such as recall of previously learned material, reasoning by analogy, and creative thinking, reach their peak during the 20s and then begins a slow and a gradual decline. Even though young adults may not learn quite as rapidly as they did earlier, the quality of their learning does not deteriorate. Next is the motivation. When adolescents reach the age of legal maturity, they have a strong desire to be regarded by the social group as an independent adult. So, this provides them with the motivation to master the developmental tasks needed to be so regarded. And the last one is the role model. Adolescents who go to work when they finish high school or training school have role models to imitate. So, being associated with adults give them the motivation to model their behavior along adult lines so that they themselves will be judged as adults. So, now let us discuss some of the conditions which are responsible for the interest changes in adulthood. Health conditions. So, many adults, as they reach their middle age, they find that their strength and endurance are not what they formerly were. So, they gradually shift their interest, which requires less strength. Economic status. So, the economic status plays an important role because the people who are pretty good at their economic status, they expand their range of interests than those of economically backward. Changes in life pattern. So, the young adults must reassess their old interests to see whether they fit into their new life patterns or give as much satisfaction as they did earlier. Changes in values. So, the new values the individual acquires influences already existing interests or even leads to new ones. The next is the sex role changes. The pattern of adult women's life differs definitely from that of adult men's life. So, with the result, the sex differences in interests become greater than they were earlier. Changes from single to married status. So, because their life patterns differ, Unmarried adults develop different interests than those of married adults of the same age level. Assumption of parent role. So, when young adults become parents, they usually do not have the time, money, or energy. So, instead, their interests become family oriented rather than self oriented. Changes in preferences. So, likes and dislikes, which have a profound influence on interests, tend to become more stronger with age, and this definitely leads to increased stability of interests in adulthood. The last one is the changes in cultural and environmental pressures. Because at every age, interests are influenced by pressures from the social group. So, as social group values change, so do interests. So, now let's discuss the factors influencing religious interests in early adulthood. Firstly, sex. So, definitely, women tend to be more interested in religion than men, and they take more active part in religious affairs. The next is the social class. The members of the middle class as a group are more interested in religion than those of socially and economically higher and backward classes. The next comes place of residence. Adults who live in rural and suburban areas tend to show a greater interest than those of who live in urban areas. Family background. Adults who are brought up in homes where religion played an important role, they tend to continue to show greater interest than those whose experiences were less important to them. Religious interests of friends. So they are definitely more likely to be interested in religion if their neighbors or friend are active in those religious organizations. Spouses of different faiths. So, husband and wives of different faiths tend to be less active in religious affairs than those of same faith. Concern about death. Adults who are concerned about death are more likely to be interested in religion than those whose attitude is more realistic. And lastly comes the personality pattern. The more authoritarian the personality pattern, the more preoccupied young adults are with religions and the more intolerant they are of other religions. So, by contrast, well adjusted adults are tolerant of other religions and they usually participate in the religious activities. So, now let us see the factors influencing social participation in this early adulthood. So, firstly, social mobility. The more anxious adults are to improve their social status, the more they try to become affiliated with the community organizations that will help them to rise on the social ladder. The next is the socio-economic status. So, whether single or married, young adults whose socio-economic status is favorable are able to participate in more social activities, especially outside the home, than those whose socio-economic status is strained. Next is the length of residence in the community, or we can say the community residences. So many young adults who must move to a new community become active participants in community organizations as a way of meeting people and forming friendships. Social class. Upper and middle class adults belong to more community organizations and they are more active in these organizations and they also assume more leadership roles in them than the lower class adults. Next is the environment. The social life of young adults living in cities, they are centered more around relatives than that of young adults who live in rural or suburban areas. There it is more of neighborliness and social participation. The next is the sex. Married men are freer to engage in social activities outside the home than married women, so who have to obviously limit their social participation to the home or immediate neighborhood. Age of sexual maturing. Men who have matured early are more active in community affairs and more often play leadership roles than men who matured late. And even women who were early maturers continue to be socially active in adulthood if obviously circumstances in their lives permit. Then next comes the birth order. So the firstborns, many of whom suffer from feelings of insecurity, tend to be joiners and are more active in community affairs than those who were born later. And the last one is the religious affiliation. So, adults who are members of a particular religion tend to be more active in those religious functions than those who have no specific religious affiliation. So, now let's discuss about the common work attitudes. They are divided as society maintaining and ego involving. In the society maintaining work attitudes, the workers have very little or no interest in their work, and their main interest is in their paychecks. In the ego involving, they have real great personal satisfaction from them, and it is a means of gaining prestige and also a source of intrinsic enjoyment. Now let's discuss the conditions contributing to difficulties in marital adjustment. Limited preparation for marriage. So, although the sexual adjustments may be easier now than in the past because of more readily available of sex information and even having a little preparation in the areas of domestic skills, child rearing, and money management. Roles in marriage. So, the trend towards the change in marital roles for both men and women, and the different concepts of these roles held by different social classes make adjustment problems in marriage more difficult now. Early marriage. So, definitely, the people who are into early marriage compare themselves to those of married friends who waited to be financially independent before marrying. So, definitely, this leads to constant envy and resentment, which mutilates against good marital adjustments. Unrealistic concepts of marriage. So, the adults who have spent their lives in school and college with little or no work experience tend to have unrealistic concepts of marriage, which will definitely lead to serious adjustment problems and even divorce. Mixed marriages. So, the adjustments to parenthood and to in laws both are important to marital happiness. So, nowadays, the interracial or interreligious marriages are more likely to be difficult than those of the same racial or religious background marriages. Shortened courtships. The courtship period is now shorter than past, so they have less time to solve many of the problems before they are actually married. Romantic concepts of marriage. So many of them have a romantic concept of marriage developed already in adolescence. So being overly optimistic towards marriage will bring them disenchantment, which definitely increases the difficulties of adjusting to the duties and responsibilities of marriage. Lastly comes the lack of identity. So if a man feels that his family, friends, or anyone treat him as some person's husband, or if a woman is treated as a housewife, just a housewife, that will definitely affect their lack of identity. So now let's discuss about the factors influencing adjustment to parenthood. Definitely this is a very important topic. So firstly, attitudes towards pregnancy. The woman's attitude towards parenthood is colored by her physical and emotional condition during pregnancy. So, in most cases, if her attitude has been unfavorable, it improves after the baby's birth. Next is the attitudes towards parenthood. Adults adjust better to parenthood if they want children because they feel they're essential to a happy marriage rather than because of family or social pressures. Age of parents. Young parents tend to take their parental responsibilities lightly, where older parents tend to be more anxious and concerned. Sex of children. Adults' attitudes towards parenthood are more favorable if they have a child or children of the same sex they prefer. Number of children. When adults have the number of children they consider ideal, their adjustment will be better. Parental expectations. If parents have a dream child concept, their adjustment to parenthood will be affected by how well the child measures up to his ideal. Feelings of parental adequacy. Conflicts about child training methods lead to confusions and to feelings of anxiety about doing the job well. So, this has an unfavorable effect on the adult's adjustment to parenthood. Attitudes towards changed roles. So, yes, parenthood definitely means that both the men and the women must learn to play family centered rather than the pair centered roles. So, how the men and women react to these role changes will have a profound influence on their adjustments to parenthood. The last is the child's temperament. Children who are easy to manage and who are responsive and affectionate makes parents feel rewarded for the time and effort they spend on them. So this has a favorable effect on parents' attitudes towards their parental roles. So now lastly let us discuss about the hazards. So I have divided into four divisions. So firstly, if we see the physical hazards, poor health, physical defects and physical unattractiveness. These will definitely affect some major areas of development in this early adulthood, which will be very problematic in their middle and old age. So the next are the developmental task hazards. So as you can see, discontinuities in training. So when training received at home or in school has little or no relationship to the pattern of life in adulthood, the individual will be ill prepared to meet the demands of the adult life. Next, overprotectiveness. So, the adult who was overprotected during childhood and adolescence may find adjustment to adult life extremely difficult. Prolongation of peer group influence. The longer young adults continue their education in college or training schools, the longer peer group influences will prevail and longer their behavior will conform to peer group standards and values. So it will be difficult for them to behave as adults. So the last one is the unrealistic aspirations. Adults who were extremely successful academically, socially, athletically in higher school or college are likely to develop unrealistic concepts of their abilities. As a result, they expect to be equally successful in the adult world too. And now the religious hazards. Adjustment to new religious faith during childhood. So basically when you're younger, you opt to the religion which your parents or your family members believe. And then after your marriage, there is an in-law pressure to adopt one or the other religion which might be different from what you believed in your childhood. So the last one is the social hazards. As you can see, finding a congenial social group to identify with. Definitely after marriage, for both men and women, due to their home adjustments or work pressures, they don't find time to participate in any of the social activities. So, the second hazard is the acceptance of traditional sex roles. So, definitely, there is a dissatisfaction with the role of a social group expects the individual to play. So we can say adults who were accustomed to playing leadership roles in adolescence now find it difficult to play the role of follower. So now the third hazard is the social mobility. Socially mobile people face far more dilemmas than the relatively immobile people because they must adjust to a new social group with new values and standards of behavior. So, definitely, this social mobility often causes stress in the family, not only between husband and wife, but between parents and children as well.